then there is this guy called Randall Bosman. When I'm like a few glasses down, like I'm already feeling a bit tipsy, he asked us like a sort of a simple algorithm question. And then it turns out, out of all those people, because there's a standing table, the networking events. My program was working because he asked us to write the algorithm.
Do you have your laptop with
in
you?
a napkin? It was in a napkin.
Okay.
So only mine was working. So that's how I got my first interview at Microsoft. Only had two options.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah.
So you qualify. So there was just one extra interview, and then that was it. The 2-week project.
Yeah.
Once that you passed that, then you joined the company.
So in my cohort, only 4 guys got in out of 15.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it was
quite very competitive as well.
Yeah. And Harrison was one of them. So
Harrison was on the boot camp as well, but he didn't make it then. He didn't join Andela then.
So
he joined Andela much later.
Later. Yeah. So when you joined, how did you get a project to work on? Did you get assigned a company's project? How did it all work?
So Andela, we call it the Andela Fellowship. It was a fellowship still then. So, first, like I like to say, Andela was very life-changing. I mean, I actually considered wearing an Andela T-shirt.
Because you come here.
But I said I need to get over myself.
So you still have Andela T-shirts?
I do.
Now that you talked about the T-shirt.
I still have I have the original Andela T-shirt. And also have my bands, my D-level bands. Like I'll talk about them. So Andela was a fellowship. It was a 4-year program. So the first 6 months, you get trained on a particular technology stack. And then you sort of consult for companies across the world. So I joined Andela. I got accommodation to Andela, and then I lived in. We used to joke. I used to live in Kilimani for 6 Yeah.
When Kilimani was Kilimani.
Yeah.
Nowadays Kilimani is coming and something else.
Unfortunately.
Yeah.
So I did my training in React and Node.js at Andela.
Yeah.
So I did that for 6 months, and then I sort of graduated. That was now D0. So after D0, you go to D1.
So they were measured by D. What did D stand for?
D stands for like the sort of seniority.
Okay.
You start at D0, and then the highest level was D4. So you progressed through the levels based on feedback from the partner you're working with. And then you also had to take an assessment before you went to the next level. So I joined as a D0, or we started as a D0. And then when you graduate the training, you become a D1.
Okay.
So that was when you started partner work.
Does it mean also what you're paid improves?
Or? Oh, yeah, of course. If anything, that's the only level, that's the only measurement that matters. So I worked with a company called Fast Access in New York. It was also my first time going to States because you had to do a site visit.
Okay, I see. For all the projects?
For all the companies that you're working with. I think it was in the contract that you do a site visit at least once in a year.
Okay.
So I worked with Fast Access for a year. And then I worked for...
What did you do with Fast Access?
So Fast Access was a credit scoring company that provided credit scoring for cooperatives? Not cooperatives, really. What are these things called?
SACCOs?
SACCOs, yeah.
In New York, there are SACCOs?
No. They were serving for the African market.
Oh, okay.
But the company was in New York.
Like, okay, how does that work?
Yeah, so I was there for a year. We built their platform from scratch, essentially. The backend, mobile, web, the whole shebang.
How many engineers were you on that project?
We started as 3.
And all of them from Andela?
All of us from Andela. And then 2 more joined. And then I left after a year.
Okay.
Yeah.
You left that project.
I left
not
that. I left that assignment sort of, and then I was assigned another.
And how do you live? Do you complete your module and say, okay, I need another module, or how did you?
So like after a year, depending on like the partner. So sometimes the partner, they run into financial stress, or sometimes you might have a better fit project based on your career aspirations as well.
Okay.
Or sometimes.
So there is a review process where you say, okay, this was experience, this is the report.
Yeah.
But also this is what I'm interested in.
Yeah.
So based on that, is it the manager or the guys who are getting the projects?
Yeah.
They will assign you a new project also.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that happened, and then I offboarded for success. And then I think I worked on Andela internal products for some time. I did Android again. I got to do Android again for Andela internal products. And then after that, I joined another partner based in Canada. It was called Finhaven. They did crypto stuff. Yeah. I don't exactly remember what that was about. And then, so after that, Microsoft happened.
Oh, still through Andela?
No.
Oh, the migration. It was like a migration.
Yeah.
But also, before even Microsoft happened, I hear there are a couple of guys who are working for GitHub and Microsoft projects through Andela, no?
I didn't hear about that.
Microsoft.
But I know GitHub guys. GitHub, but Microsoft
maybe,
I didn't hear. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Because I understand that's how they understood that the ecosystem is ready for engineering office.
Yeah.
And now that they own GitHub, maybe, I don't know. Yeah. So you guys, but before when you migrated, there was some issues with Andela. I don't know. They wanted to close us. I don't know, to cut down.
No, that's after I'd left. I left in 2018, August 2018. Yeah.
And that means there was a huge migration. It was just you leaving.
So at that time, what had happened is Andela had started hiring aggressively.
Okay.
And like at Andela, it was like a brotherhood. Like everyone knew everyone, and like there was.
So if someone leaves, then
guys were so close. Guys used to hang out quite a bit.
But then there's a part we just didn't talk about.
Yeah.
Where I visited Andela, right? And we left part that where I came for a couple of workshops here in Mombasa before you joined Andela. How was that experience for you? Let's start with the workshops here in Mombasa through Swahili Box and other partners. How was that for you?
Very useful actually, because you see, what workshops do is like they sort of give you another perspective about things. For example, like if I've only been using, say, I don't know, Asana, then I get to learn about Jira. I get to sort of compare the two. Because in a normal day-to-day, unless something extraordinary happens, like changing roles or changing jobs, I won't use Jira, right? So there was that, and there was also the getting the insight from other folks. Because are very smart people in Kenya, so getting that insight. I've always appreciated that, like, not living in my head too much, like getting to hear what other people are saying.
And then at Andela, I come there and do what I used to call. I'm still doing it even through this. It's still impact. So I do impact innovation. I remember presenting that keynote at africastalking summit, but tweaked for devs. It's the same keynote I did with you guys, and I remember vividly. Maybe I'll share the pictures with the editor to show
the growth.
That it was an interactive session where guys used to, like, even beyond code, how do you really build for impact?
Yes.
Because that's what matters, especially in Africa, like building a solution that could scale, number one, number two, that could touch on individuals who are using that solution. And you guys happen to collaborate and build. I don't know if you remember that experience.
Yeah, I think the most vivid part is I remember getting a shrug. And then there wasn't any male shirts remaining, so I had to get
blouses.
I had to get a blouse for my girlfriend and now wife.
Oh, then she was a girlfriend. Nice. But I'm not talking about that. It looks like you forgot this one. This one, even Nanda was there. There was another session I did separately, besides the Atlassian one.
I might have forgotten that. Did you do it on the cafeteria?
No, there was a table just aligned there. I think it's the cafeteria. And then there was a TV. So we used to present and then
that might have been the boot camp rooms. The boot camp rooms. Those are the rooms where we used to do boot camps. If there was a TV, yeah.
But it was outside.
It was outside.
I'll send you the pictures and then you tell me.
If it's outside, it's the cafeteria.
Yeah, you tell me which is it. But it was just we had this chat with Nana and said, if you present this to these guys, I think there's so much they will gain. For me, it was because I also wanted to start Impact Hub Nairobi. And there were these induction meetings that we went to, and I was fascinated by them, by the fact that there are people who don't just build for money.
Yeah.
They build social businesses. It's not that they don't make money, but specifically they are more geared to
Yeah, I think the only other person that I know who really cares about impact, social impact, is Ahmed Mawi.
Yeah.
Ahmed Mawi really cares about social impact.
Yeah. And it's important actually, if you understand them, because for me, I used to know that I want to change the way things are, but I wasn't so clear how do you do it until now. That process of starting Impact Hub Nairobi, it never worked, but the lessons I got there are game changer. And then I prepared these keynotes and presented it to you guys. Hannah Masila was there.
Oh yeah,
I think you were there, and a couple of other guys. Nanda was there. When I look at the picture, you see who was there. But I'll share the picture with you, and maybe probably the editor to share that. So, one thing also I noted about Andela that you're saying it was, a gang, it was well knitted. You guys used to have pool. You used to have PS maybe 2 or I don't know, PS what. You used to play.
Yeah.
And when I visited you guys, because I went there, I hosted 2 events there and I interacted with you guys. One of the things that I noted is that when do you guys get time to work?
Well, we're not playing pool.
Because there are guys who played pool throughout. They're like, okay, maybe they're waiting for the evening.
So you see, most people used to work with companies in the US. So usually there's quite a bit of time difference there.
Yeah.
So during the day, folks will just be playing the pool, and then people start working from 5.
Yeah.
Most will work from midday. So that's why it seems like a lot of people around.
And it's from 5 until 2 a.m.
Yes. And then sometimes some folks used to live at Andela. There used to be accommodation.
Oh, okay.
Some folks used to be there was transport, we'll drop you at home.
So there was no pressure. Yeah. And then Andela opened a campus in along Thika Road. But then had you left or you still
I was still there. But before, then we go to Thika Road. Yeah. So
it was big news, man. I wanted to visit that campus.
It was really good.
Did that campus exist in reality? Because with everything that happened afterwards,
I don't really know.
Even I didn't know it was a lease. Was it because the one that reached me, I never got to visit, is that these guys have bought a couple of acres behind TRM.
Yeah.
They want to build a whole campus.
They did build.
Yeah.
They built. Okay. They built.
Okay. Yeah. So before that, you were saying something.
Yeah, so I was going to say, I was on the part where the disintegration of the close-knit society, community rather. So what happened is Andela started hiring rather rapidly and very huge numbers because of growth, the startup drug.
Yeah.
All startups get high on growth.
Yeah.
So cohorts became very large. From 4 people cohorts to 20 people cohorts. I think from cohorts every now and then to cohorts every week. So that closeness was no longer there.
You could see some random guys.
You didn't feel like there was nothing special about Andela anymore. Because so what they say is the people is what is important.
True,
so people had opportunities, but will stay because
of the
friends are there. And also people didn't mind getting Andela taking a cut from their salaries, because what we know is this is necessary for the next cohort. For the next cohort to be able to join Andela, this needs to be done. So guys they would gladly let Andela say take whatever percentage they were taking from the salary. No one had qualms with it. But at some point the vision changed, the mission changed. It became about growth, and people started feeling shortchanged. Because you see, the mission initially, I don't remember the words, but it made you feel like
you're part of something bigger.
And then you're okay sacrificing something for the next group.
Yeah.
But when the mission changed, it made you feel disillusioned.
And how did it change? What did it change to?
I don't remember the wordings. It's been a while.
Was it raising funds? Was it? No.
It became more business oriented than
Numbers.
more people oriented.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's the feeling that I remember getting.
Yeah.
So there was very little reason to stay at Andela.
Yeah.
Although I must say, like, Andela's changed the lives of a lot of people.
And even the ecosystem.
Yeah, the ecosystem is where it is. To me, because of Swahili Box and Andela.
Yeah.
I would say. So one day, after I've done my work, the folks from Microsoft come to the office, say, "Oh yeah, we have a dinner at Radisson Blue."
They come to Andela office and they tell guys.
Yeah, they wanted to like see what Andela is doing. They're sort of like scouting.
So did everyone get called for meeting or?
No, see, like they were just walking through and inviting people for the dinner. So I went to the dinner because I had nothing else to do. Free food and drinks.
Yeah.
Little did I know that it was actually a scouting event. It was not just a dinner. They were scouting for
devs.
folks, for devs. Then there is this guy called Randall Bosman. When I'm like a few glasses down, like I'm already feeling a bit tipsy, he asked us like a sort of a simple algorithm question. And then it turns out, out of all those people, because there's a standing table, the networking events.
Yeah.
There was my program was working because he asked us to write the algorithm.
Do you have your laptop with
in
you?
a napkin? It was in a napkin. Yeah.
Okay.
So only mine was working. So that's how I got my first interview at Microsoft.
And the rest is history,
as they say.
So were you like the initial engineers who joined the Microsoft developer program?
Well, fun
ADC?
fact, I joined Microsoft ADC before ADC started. So that makes me the first engineer at Microsoft ADC.
Africa.
By accident.
Oh, nice. That's amazing. I didn't know that.
Well, you're very privileged to have this conversation with me.
Thank you so much, man. Thank you so much. No, and it shows. Seriously, it's very important because I'm a guy who knows that in a couple of years, Apple engineering will be in Africa. And I'm a guy who believes that maybe in a couple of decades, Africa will be shipping serious products out there. So that's how weird I am. But also, even before these guys came, maybe you don't know, I was the only guy who was building communities, developer community consistently.
Yeah.
I'm still doing so.
Yeah.
Not because I could not do something else, but it's because I see that if an opportunity comes and you're not ready, then it's a wasted opportunity.
Well, there is a saying that I like, and that is like victory loves preparation.
Absolutely, yeah. So that's great. So you joined Microsoft and still you are in Andela, or you just quit Andela and joined Microsoft?
I resigned from Andela
that evening or after you qualified. How many interviews did you do with Microsoft?
So I remember it being 4 rounds. Yeah.
In a span of
2 days.
2 days.
Yeah, because Microsoft is in Redmond, so I had to do them like at midnight.
Okay.
Using Andela Internet, unfortunately.
Andela Internet was good.
It was the best.
Yeah. So you used to stay in the office until late.
Yeah.
Doing these interviews.
Yeah.
But everyone else thinks you are working.
I know, like I was not. That was past my working hours.
But whoever leaves you there, this guy is very serious.
Burning the midnight oil.
But you are exiting. So how did the guys take that news? Like, man, this is it. So that looks like you gave them 1 month notice.
Yes. So Joshua Moniki, the country director, is a very good friend of mine. So after they did the initial negotiation with Microsoft, I actually took him to give him the contract to read for me, because he's a lawyer by profession. He's a trained lawyer.
To help you review it.
Yeah. And also he has more exposure. As Africans we say, what elders can see while seated, young people can't see standing on a hill.
Or a tree.
Yeah. So I gave him the contract to review it. And he said, you should go.
So for him, it was not, it didn't look...
Well, the money was good.
Yeah.
It was very good, actually.
More than what guys are offered right now? Or?
Well, I don't know what guys are offered.
Because for you were hired in Seattle office, right? Or Redmond?
I was reporting to Seattle,
Yeah. That means the contract must have been...
Yeah, it was good.
Yeah.
It was good.
Yeah. Now I'll start asking some controversial questions, so I hope you are ready.
I will answer those which I can.
And I will be politically correct. Because this is very important even for the ecosystem to grow. So the word is, after, guys came in, set up some offices here, there is, word going around that guys get shortchanged and they're hired based on the economic status of value of that country, as opposed to what their counterpart are paid doing the same job, or even for them, even if they're doing it much better, they still get underpaid.
No, that's true. It happens.
Yeah. It's still happening.
Yeah, it's happening. Yeah, for sure. Like you need to, I negotiate quite aggressively.
Yeah.
So I think learning to negotiate is really important. Because it's the only opportunity to have all your subsequent salaries depend on your first salary.
True.
So negotiate as much as you can for your first salary.
Yeah. So when you joined, I'll ask other questions as you go. When you joined Microsoft, what did you get to work? Which team did you join? Given that Microsoft has a portfolio of tools across the industry.
So when I joined Microsoft, it's actually I sort of stumbled onto my second passion, and that is building developer tools. I've been building developer tools since then. So that's for like the last 6-7 years.
Yeah, I remember you telling me you built Python open source for.
Yeah. So that's why even you see like the projects that I work on are not like web apps or stuff, like they're very tooling oriented.
Yeah.
So when I joined Microsoft, I joined a developer experience team for the Microsoft Graph API. So my first responsibility was sort of migrating. It's called a Graph Explorer from Angular to React. That was my first sort of thing that I did there. And by that time, I'd even like contributed to the React developer tools.
On the side or with
on the side, like while I was at Andela, because I did React mostly at Andela.
Yeah.
So I contributed to the open source tool by Facebook itself. And then so it was quite nice, like because I was able to sort of set the standard in the team at that time. Yeah. And I did that, and then now I moved to other projects after the migration from Angular to React. Yeah.
So take me through this journey. So at say Microsoft or any legacy scaled solution, and you get to build something that already exists or migrate. How do you handle if something doesn't work the first version? How is that process like?
So the trick is to build something that works first and then improve on it.
So they have like testing tools that ensures that by the time we're shipping these, it really works.
I see what you're asking for. Like, how do you ensure that you're shipping correct software?
Yes.
Yes. So
for production.
For production ready. Yeah. So at Microsoft, there's a lot of dog fooding, like where like teams use the product you're building
internally.
Okay. So and then there is like deployment rings. So first to internal users, then to sort of beta users. Like for example, a good example is this is the insider program for VS Code or for Windows. Yeah. And then now to the general public. Yeah. So there's a lot of checks through the
and balances. Yeah. And the reason I'm asking is that I know Microsoft for shipping broken tools.
Which Microsoft?
That requires patches afterwards. Even today's Microsoft. How many times do we, even before you became a rock star and stuff, how many times do you require patches for things to work? And even today there's some of the tools, and I understand because they have a wide range of tools, and keeping track.
So I think I agree. Like even for myself, one thing I realized is that my interpretation of ship first, like build something that works and iterate on it has changed. Because initially I thought it's okay to have bugs like as you ship something.
Yeah.
But that is not, or rather now how I interpret it is not that way. It's that, okay, you need to ship something that works.
At least stable enough.
No, not stable enough. Something that works completely, like a small feature set.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
For example, if the task is to, say, create an API that can, say, perform CRUD operation, you create, read, update, delete operation. You don't build the whole API, but then with bugs, with parts missing. You build a single endpoint, say, I want to create, and then make sure that it works completely.
Yeah.
And then you ship that.
Yeah.
And then you build the second piece, and then you ship that.
Yeah.
So instead of building small incomplete parts, you ship small complete parts.
Yeah.
I don't know if that makes sense.
No, it makes sense. And actually, there's a science around that. That's why I'm like, all these years, Microsoft and all the talent they have. But of course, I understand. You know, I never worked
even Google, Facebook, everyone ships shitty code.
How come we don't see? Okay, now we see that with the Google Suite. With the Google Suite, we see, but with the Google itself, it's really hard to understand, to like capture what is broken. But now with the Google Suite, there are a couple of things that actually you can't really do, and you feel like, okay, there could be a better work that could be done there. But the future is you can ship something that is really perfectly working.
Yeah, so the idea is to do honest work, like for you as a software engineer, to put in the effort, to try.
Yeah.
Bugs might leak through, but at least try.
Yeah.
Don't sort of like rush over the work, and then bugs will be obviously present in your software if you rush.
Yeah. But also the point I'm looking at is that even now there are more tools to help you see where things are broken much faster, as opposed to before. Because before you needed a good piece of two eyes that could actually
and also like I would say discipline as well. Even as a software engineer, you need to be quite disciplined.
So Chief, I'm also sure I'm still on that dev migration. You find this quite size of code.
Oh yeah,
and you need to migrate.
It was actually very interesting because that project initially had been worked on by contractors.
Oh, okay. It was outsourced.
Yeah.
And
it was very messy. Like it was. It felt like everything was littered everywhere.
Yeah.
Spaghetti
code, or just things are not working really.
Yes, spaghetti code. Yeah. So it made like you had to understand 4 modules before you change one module. It was that
Must
complicated.
Have been crazy. Yeah. So that's why they made a decision to build it in-house.
So actually that was the version 3 of the same product actually.
Internally or even
outsourced.
By the
outsourced, yeah.
And still they felt like this is not it.
So the plan was to migrate it to Angular. I don't know. Well, it was on Angular 2, and I don't remember which Angular version was out then. Is it 7? I don't know. Like some really newer version of Angular.
So 1, it was outdated. 2, the code was all over. 3, I'm sure it was not as efficient as possible.
Yes, and also now, even my upgrading it to the new Angular version, because there was a lot of syntax change between the 2 Angular versions. We might as well just do it in the like what was familiar then to most people, because React was picking up, so it would have been easier to hire more people who know React anyway. So we decided to do a rewrite in React. So the migration is mostly essentially a rewrite. Essentially, if you are changing programming frameworks or languages.
Yeah, so you have to write everything.
You have to rewrite the thing. Yeah.